Probably the most important thing in this delicate moment, in this extraordinary and wonderful moment, but also in many ways a very dramatic moment. In this moment of great transmutation, transition of the human journey, probably the most important thing is to understand, but even better, to feel who we really are. This is because for as long as we have an absolute definition of what we think we are, based on a narrative that comes from outside, it is very difficult for us to face the great period and transformation process that is going on right now in front of our eyes. For as long as we let the narrative that comes from outside to define us, our predisposition, our situation will always be of dependency. When we get absolutely lost in this game, in this operating system, and we believe that the game is the only thing that exists, and even more, we believe that we are the game, and that when the game is over, we no longer exist. With this absolute identification with the narrative that comes from outside, it does not allow us to play the game as if it was a game. And so we get lost in it, and what was supposed to be a game becomes a situation extremely serious, very dramatic, very contracted. The moment we understand that we are simply playing a game, and we know we have infinite amount of other games we can play at in any given moment, and we know this game is simply a moment. For a soul, is a blink of an eye. 50, 100 years are nothing from the point of view of the soul. So if we play the game by embracing our soul and recognizing our soul as our true identity, as the most truthful, most organic representation of what we really are, then the game is no longer contracted. It is no longer dramatic, and so we can still get lost in the game with great passion. But a little bit like when we watch a movie with wonderful actors, we do get lost in the movie, in the narrative, in the drama, in the colors, in the flavors, in the sounds of this extraordinary movie. But as much as we get excited, part of us remain aware that we are watching a movie, and so we can enjoy the movie in all its colors without getting completely lost in it and lose our identity and our sense of self in it, without believing that we are the movie that we are watching. Most of us have observed, have been watching this movie and this game on earth for so long that have come to believe that they are the movie. And therefore the movie that was meant to be simply an experience has now become a drama. It is still an experience, but much, much more intense experience than it was meant to be. So who are we? We are Source. We are an expression of Source, through which Source is having an experience. This is because Source is everything, and there is nothing outside of Source. And when you are all that exists, there is a paradox. And of course I am using a language which is not equipped to properly describe what source is. And also, life cannot be understood, it can only be felt. However, source is everything. And when you are everything, you cannot understand who you really are. It's like if we place ourselves in front of a white canvas, and we are painters, until we put some colors and we create a contrast, it is impossible to have an experience. There is only white. There is only infinite white in front of our eyes. So there is no experience. But when we choose a color and we create a contrast, it is now possible through the contrast to understand who we are. And therefore source, in order to understand, and to understand again is not the right word, but we are going to use it, in order to understand what source is, source fragments itself. It fragments and creates the illusion of fragmentation, creates the illusion of separation in reality. This is simply an illusion. This is an illusory fragmentation. And such illusory fragmentation creates energy, an energy that is in motion, that is creative. And through this movement, through this creativity, source can live itself in an infinite number of ways. And so source of life fragments and separates, creates illusions after illusion of fragmentations. It creates holograms of vibrations, of densities, of projections, of solar systems, of galaxies, of universes, of operating systems. Each of these operating systems is also called matrix. They are all matrices. A matrix is simply an operating system where there are specific rules that are created so that we can have experiences. We can experience a game. And therefore, in front of an infinite amount of the operating system, of matrices, of games, the soul, which is a fragmentation of source itself, the soul chooses, on the basis of its purposes, chooses its next adventure. Most of those who are present right now in this operating system called Earth are souls who have chosen this Earth as an adventure because they've been fascinated by its curriculum, by this incredible diversity and uniqueness that Mother Earth as an operating system offer. And so we all have accepted this challenge. We wear this avatar, this extraordinary human costume, and accepted the challenge of diving into this incredible diversity of frequencies, of sounds, pulsations, colors, flavors, emotions, to have an extraordinary experience. So if we keep in mind that we are a soul, that at this moment is temporarily wearing this avatar, this costume, to play with the typical joy of a soul, an extraordinary and wonderful game which is planet Earth. If we keep in mind that we are simply a soul who is wearing this costume and is having a physical experience, then we can play all the roles. We can play the role of father, of son, of mother, of Hollywood celebrity, of doctor, of lawyers. We can play poor, rich. We can play sick, healthy, handsome, ugly, young, old. We can play all these roles, but as if it was a game. There is not an absolute identification with those roles. So you wear this mask, you live an experience with passion, with great joy, and you get lost in it to a certain degree. You get lost in this experience, but you always keep yourself always connected with the fact that this is simply an experience. And at any time, we can choose another experience, because we do not stop to live. We do not stop to exist at the moment this experience ends. And among other things, consciously or unconsciously, we decided how long this experience lasts. We decide all the roles that we want to interpret and the roles of what is our surrounding. We organize everything, we orchestrate everything ourselves. And anytime we can change the rules of the game, we can change the game, or we can stay until it ends. But again, when we know that we are not the game, that we are not the role we are playing, but we are source that is playing this game, which is a blink of an eye, then with this awareness we can face this tsunami of great transformation that is happening right now, in this moment, in which we are at the end of this cycle, and we are moving into a new cycle of what we call human experience. And we can do this all without getting lost in it, and without getting lost in the low emotions, in the dramas. It is easy then to position ourselves in the center of a tsunami, where there is peace, and where there is an inner strength that knows beyond the tsunami, that goes beyond the tsunami. And then we can just enjoy this tsunami, play with it, and also transform it. And with this predisposition, we can be of great support to all the others who are affected by the tsunami. And therefore, the passage from the old dream to the new one, it becomes an extraordinary experience.